just relax in. Whether we're here in this room, whether we're at home, in our jammies or our comfies, just relax in wherever you are. Let's bring our attention gently back to center or into center. Further and further we go into the quiet sanctuary within. We know that when we bring our attention with gentle purpose to that sacred center inside of us, that we're just moving further into the Godness that is what we are made of. God is the allness of everything. There is nothing outside of God. All that happens, whether we feel it joyfully or fearfully or angrily or excitedly, all that happens is happening within God. Any sense of separation, any devils that bedevil us, are created within that space of God and can never overpower the Godness that is. There is sanctuary everywhere we go. Because everywhere we go, we bring Godness with us. In any given moment, we have the power of the pause. We have the ability to stop wherever we are, whatever is happening, and to breathe, knowing that we are breathing the breath of God itself. If the word God isn't working for you, use source, creator, universe, nature, divinity, potentiality. Whatever that allness is for you, words are just little boxes that we put it within. It goes so far beyond any of them. We breathe in the breath of that source. We move inside of that source. Our ideas come from that source. If we have any ideas of fear or lack or separation, it is simply ours to breathe and step back into alignment with the never-ending, unlimited source of goodness. God is. I am a part of that Godness. The life I live is created by the thoughts and beliefs that I hold long enough and strong enough. I take this time in this moment and so many others to pause, to move to that center of source within, and to remember that is my connection space. From that space of connection, and after remembering that God is the allness that I am a part of, I take inspired action. I just let that land for a minute. I am an inspired action of God. I am how God gets around in this world. All of us are how God becomes this world. So let's just take a moment in a moment of quiet, silent, sacred sanctuary and send out love. Send it out as far and wide as you can in the silence. Now just let that love land wherever it reached. Knowing that every being, every creature, every aspect of life that love touched, it leaves an impression. It allows more love to show up in this world. We show up that way, lovingly, acceptingly, joyously, open-heartedly, and we bring that attitude, that aspect of beingness with us into the rest of this service today as we come back to words, to actions, to messages, and to song. And so it is. Amen. So you hear the call in that song. Lord, help me to tune in. Teach me to be wise. Teach me to find my way to the guidance. And here's the key in our unity belief system is when we're asking God to help, when we're looking to God for guidance, we are not looking to a being that lives out there somewhere.
Loretta.
Yeah, in Loretta? Yeah, okay. Somewhere in Loretta. Or to some old white guy sitting on a cloud somewhere. That is not the God that unity seeks. The God that unity believes in is an all-encompassing, all-existing allness. That God is not some separate thing from us that we are asking to land something on us. God is everything, including us. And we often live in this fog that we're somehow separate from it and that we need to go find it somewhere so that we might find that guidance from the old white guy in the sky, right? Even if it was a superhero. I'm sorry, that's not big enough for me. The predicaments I can get myself into in life need more than a super guy in the sky, okay? They need something that understands far beyond my understanding. The movements that I want to move through, the growth that I will undertake in this life needs something beyond a human guise, even if it's a superhero. The wisdom that I seek is all-knowing, all-understanding, something that can see so much bigger than the big picture that I can see, because my big picture is so small compared. If we made a team of all of us to do something together in this room, every one of us would see it differently and would bring something new and different to what it would be that we would create. I can only see so much. We all need everyone else in our sphere of existence to show us things, sometimes things that we wouldn't want to be for all the money in the world. Sometimes what someone shows us, even parents doing the very best they can, may at some points in our life only be showing us things we don't want to do when we're parents. It's all a valuable lesson. It's all something to learn. It's all something to take into a future that we can change the world with. Our belief system, or what we call in unity our BS, is what we are creating our life with. If your belief system is holding you in a little teeny tiny box with a really tight lid on it, I invite you to expand your view. If your belief system is telling you, see, that's why today we're cutting through the Blarney. Tuesday is St. Patrick's Day. Yesterday we had it all wrong and somebody thought that it was St. Patrick's Day and we had a bunch of youth pinching each other and getting mad and drawing green on themselves. I discovered yesterday I don't ever have to wear green. I'm permanently marked with it. I'm safe on every St. Patrick's Day forever. So you can't pinch me. So that's the thing. We call Blarney is sometimes BS. Blarney is the bluster and these beliefs that we hold on to sometimes for no reason other than we heard our parents say it, and they might only be saying it because their parents said it. We have these beliefs that we carry from generation to generation to generation, and sometimes they're a bunch of BS. Sometimes it's time for us to realize that there's so much more to life and so much more to God than we may be grasping at the moment. If God is the creator of heaven and earth, think about some of the creatures, some of the living things, some of the ways that molecules and atoms organize in this world and how amazing they are. The things in our own body we don't even realize that we can do. The amazing power of our mind and our belief system, because God is guiding it. God birthed it. God made it happen. The godness and the allness is in it, and we limit it sometimes by the little boxes that we let people tell us we belong in. We can be the girl box, the boy box, the mother or father box. And some of those are wonderful. Some of the pieces of our lives and the roles that we hold within our lives are amazing and wonderful. And it's like we're this big, giant diamond. Each one of those is simply one facet of who and what we are. We are part of the allness of beingness. So let's cut through some of the Blarney of the belief systems that we hold. One of those belief systems that I often hold is, who am I? I'm just one person. What could I do? Dave showed up one day and said, we need a youth group represented here. I'll do it. And now we have a lock-in with 20 people. When he was told by people in charge of lock-ins at this time of year that it's just not a good time of year for it, nobody shows up. That's when you just want to take a picture and send it to them. No, I don't have any snarkiness left in me, right? We create our world by the thoughts we hold about the things that happen in it. We're celebrating St. Patty's Day, St. Patrick's Day this week, and St. Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland. We live in the United States. So first of all, that's the thing. But St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, was British. I'm cutting through the Blarney, Paul. You got to give me a little bit of space here. St. Patrick was not Irish. St. Patrick was British. As a matter of fact, he was held in slavery in Ireland for 6 years. So to be the patron saint of Ireland is a fascinating thing to me. It's like he was a slave in Ireland. He had a dream that he would be free, and not just that he would be, but how to accomplish that. And then he went and did it because he believed it. And he went back to Britain and he became a priest. And as he became clergy in Britain, his entire inside motivation said, you gotta go to Ireland and save those people. He went back to Ireland, and you've probably heard in the St. Patrick's Day lore that St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland. There were no snakes in Ireland. There have never been snakes in Ireland. It's one of the few places on the planet that there are no snakes. What is our BS? What is the Blarney that we're buying into in this story? Part of that Blarney is the snakes were pagans. Ooh. The snakes were code for pagans. St. Patrick made it his mission to convert people in Ireland to Christianity. He didn't do it real nice either. Again, let's dig through the Blarney and find out what the truth underneath is. The truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off. Please don't kick me off the stage. I know there are youth in the room. See, our belief system is formed by these amalgamations of things, and sometimes we don't question where they come from. And so St. Patrick, the saint of Ireland, who was British, who went to drive out snakes that didn't exist, that were code for pagans, went over there and created Christians in Ireland. And they celebrated him for it. We celebrate him today. Why? Because Irish people eventually came to the United States. And when they came to the United States, they brought their beliefs with them. Welcome to all those Christian holidays that are cultural appropriation of other belief systems. We're going to celebrate Easter soon. That was the goddess of spring. Pagan festival. Christians said, oh, no, you don't. So they just took it over. Where the rabbit came, well, we'll talk about that in a few weeks. So why do we believe what we believe? Why do we let it reside in us and desire and create the life that we live? Question your beliefs. Question every one of them. And if you belong to a religion or a spirituality that tells you you're not allowed to do that, let me give you permission right now to tell you that God is bigger than any set of beliefs, that people born on different continents who don't know a specific way of celebrating religiously would not be condemned to hell by a God that made everything. Okay? It's sort of the gospel according to Trish, but it's also a unity belief. The allness. We're a part of the allness. So this British saint this British man who became the patron saint of Ireland and who created a belief system that we have today. We wear green so nobody pinches us. We eat corned beef hash and cabbage. We eat corned beef and cabbage. It wasn't corned beef and cabbage when it was in Ireland. It was boiled beef and potatoes. When the Irish people moved to the United States, we didn't have that kind of beef to boil, but we had tons of corned beef. Yay, cultural appropriation, let's make it corned beef. And how do you make corned beef tender? You boil it with cabbage. Ta-da, celebration made. Questioning our beliefs is wise. Why do I hold myself in a place and tell myself I can only do so many things because somebody told me it was true? Why would I believe that? I'm smart sometimes. Why would I believe what somebody else's opinion of me tells them I should be? Sounds kind of messed up when I put it that way, doesn't it? God is bigger than all of it. We're a part of that God that is bigger than all of it. We are creating our lives by the things we say, the thoughts that we hold long enough and strong enough, and the things that we do following those thoughts. Stuff happens in life. Stuff that we like, stuff that we don't, stuff that we're afraid of, stuff that we have to process sometimes 7 million times before it makes it through. All of that stuff is lessons, learning for blessings, if we make it that way. They say everything happens for a reason. Sometimes you just want to shake somebody when they say that to you, because they usually say it right after something happens you really don't like. Everything happens. Whether it becomes for a reason or not depends on what we do with it. We can curl up in a hole and die. We can curl up and say, oh my gosh, I can't do that because so-and-so said it, or because someone laughed at me, or oh my gosh, if I stopped doing things because someone laughed at me, I would live in a bubble right now, and I would be doing nothing. I'm so happy to put myself out here and bleed and cry and look silly and be ridiculous and have people tell me, well, I didn't like it when you said that, but I liked it when you said this, and for me to go, okay, I'm willing to be that and do that and allow that, because it's all God in motion. It's all God in motion. And we're all a part of that motion. Let me see. Oh, and green, by the way, green came after the celebration came to the United States. Nobody really knows exactly why the green happened. There are a few different stories and mythologies around it, but there's no connection to St. Patrick in the fact that we wear green. And the shamrock, they say the shamrock came because they said that was what. Now the shamrock and the clover, there is no four-leaf clover, there's no clover, it's all shamrocks, okay, shamrock, or the other, yeah. So, yeah. And they said that he used it to teach the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. There's not any for sure proof of that either. So there's a lot of things that we're doing today that we're doing because an idea that someone had caught on. This whole belief that I'm only one person, what can I do? We had a lock-in last night because of one person's energy. I got notice this week that there was an election held in Boca Raton, Florida, that was won by one vote. And not only was it won by one vote, and this, I'm not going to get political with anybody, this just is what it is, it flipped the party that held the seat that had not been flipped in more than 30 years. One vote. Do not belittle yourself and say you are not incredibly powerful. Many of us probably remember that visual of the man in Tiananmen Square standing in front of that tank. Right? How long has that been burned into our consciousness? One man standing in front of a tank and saying, "You will not do this." It was so powerful that for decades it has shifted a whole paradigm. He said to the tank driver, this man who, by the way, who lived in a regime that I can't believe, no, I don't mean I would want it to happen, I can't believe he was not shot instantly upon standing in front of that tank, because that's what happened regularly where he lived. But he said to the tank, and he's still the unknown, by the way, "Why are you here? My city is in chaos because of you." One man's belief. We hear about Rosa Parks and the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955. She said, "Stand for something or you will fall for anything." Isn't that just a wonderful thing to say? And she said, "Today's mighty oak is yesterday's nut that held its ground." Right? Now, Rosa Parks gets a lot of the attention of the sit-in in the bus. She wasn't the first one, and she wasn't the only one. She was in the right time and the right place to become the face of that movement. But we have to celebrate all of the people that it takes. It takes a little bit to get to mass consciousness on things. It takes a bunch of ones until that one is finally the one that flips a seat in Boca Raton that has not been held by that political party in almost 4 decades. One person. We remember Gandhi. We know the name Gandhi. Everybody knows it. That was from the Salt March that was led by Gandhi in India in 1930. And he said, and you've probably heard this, all of you, we need to be the change we wish to see in the world. You want change? I'm going to give you the key to the universe right now. You are it. If you want to see it, be it. Now let's get out there and be unity and love and light in our world, a world that certainly needs it, all of it that we can make. Thank you all for being here today, and so it is.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.